Okay. Shall we move ahead with our next session? And team, just a minute. Okay, Mr. Vamsi is already there. Thank you very much, Vamsi, sir. Let's move ahead to the next session. And it's my privilege to introduce Mr. Vamsi Krishna, founder CEO of QRC Assurance and Solutions. Just to give him a quick introduction about him, a seasoned professional of payment card industry security standard certifications, having more than 2 decades of extensive experience in the areas of information security, data privacy, and security compliance audits. Mr. Vamsi successfully crafted the QRC solutions as one of the unique certification providers which has almost all security and privacy services under one umbrella. By the by, the QRC assurance performs various certifications like payment card industry, various ISO certification management system standards, and QRC is also a certain empaneled organization. And welcome, Mr. Vamsi, once again. And it's my pleasure to invite you to provide the keynote address on the topic, automating the data security process. Thanks once again for your time, and floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ramesh. And thanks for this nice introduction. And thanks for this opportunity as well. So today, actually, I'm going to discuss about the challenge faced by the industry for various, automating the cyber security or the security or privacy, whatever we say the compliances. So let me put up before that particular topic. It is a very vast topic, and there are a lot of discussions are happening. So how the QRC able to provide a solution for this automation of this data security? So well, before just I would like to share my screen. So let me share my screen here. So actually, I would like to introduce. Recently, we actually launched our the QRC Assist is the product which you are talking about. So it basically helps that organizations to process, automate that security process. It is basically like what is happening here. Whether it is any new compliances or frameworks. First thing is most of the organization they can't able to understand, they don't have the experience or the knowledge about the specific frameworks, whether you take it any GDPR or the different bills or the different standards. So we can see there is a huge gap between understanding of the requirements of any specific standards. Being added form, and we are working with more than 400 customers across different countries. It's always it is a there is a absolutely there is a vacuum is created there. The second one is understanding the requirements, what they are supposed to comply to meet the specific business or maybe the regulatory requirements. The second level, the other challenge is how they can track, because now we are working with multiple vendors, multiple partners, multiple customers. So what is happening here? Any organization at one single point in time, they may need to comply with the various regulations or various frameworks to provide confidence to their stakeholders, whether it is the internal employees or the customers or the regulatory bodies. So it is become very challenge for the organizations to monitor their security stature. What is the current situation? Yes, I do agree. There are a lot of IT solutions are available in the market, that IT different security tools are available, but predominantly they are into the domain of infrastructure security. But as a GRC professionals, we fully agree that we cannot provide 100% or even assurance 100% for only using the security tools and technologies, because it's always like a PPT, the people, process, and technology. It's any framework, like whether it is a privacy regulation, the GDPR, or even the bills, the regulatory bodies, whatever they're asking, it is always is a mix of. Definitely, there is a organization level controls, there is a people level controls, or the technology infrastructure level controls, administrative level controls. All these controls needs to be implemented within the organization so that they can provide assurance to their stakeholders about their security. Now, this is one of the biggest challenge here. Okay, so the gaps what we can see here, one is the understanding of the requirements. I mean, most of the time when we receive some calls, they want to comply with whether it is a HIPAA, whether it is a GDPR, whether it is a PCI or ISO. First of all, they know they need to comply, but how, they don't have any idea. Exactly. Sometimes, it is also, I don't say it is their fault, but it is the lack of understanding about the standards and frameworks. Most of the time they say, yeah, we want to comply this. How many days it will take? It's not days, it is actually months. Sometimes it years also to establish that kind of a practices within the organization. It takes months to months time. So this kind of awareness is there. That's absolutely, there is a vacuum. Second level, once they understand, okay, this is the kind of a requirement I need to comply to manage that particular security. But what exactly the processes they need to follow, or the exactly the controls there, or the evidences they are supposed to maintain to provide to as an artifacts to the auditors or the regulatory bodies, or submission of their reports, etc. There again, there is a gap. They don't understand what exactly they are supposed to follow. Okay, there is no specific guidelines or the guidelines available. So again, there is a different, probably the organization too much dependent on the third party vendors or the freelancers to understand all this. So there is a huge gap which we have observed. So as a what we are actually here trying to cover that gap by using specific workflows which we called as the platform called as a QRS assist. So it is a single centralized platform which helps that organizations to understand any specific standard, whether it is a global standards or the regulations, or the local standards or the regulations. So this is the platform which we built. This definitely it will help that organization to understand what is the exact requirement. Okay, so it is a small presentation, but it will take only 5 minutes. After that, I will showcase our the product, the platform we are actually providing to the customers to make sure they can utilize this platform to comply with various data security compliances, and as well as automation also. Okay, so definitely this platform, you can see that in this QRS Assist platform, all the compliances, whether whichever compliances you want to meet, in a single click, you will come to know what kind of a controls you are supposed to meet, and what kind of artifacts or the evidences you are supposed to meet. Okay, you're supposed to maintain, and also you can create, because one of the thing what we observed is that if there are companies, there are very big organizations, they maintain these compliances at a various different phases. Like one organization, if it is a small organization, they want to comply with specific standards. Like for example, just take the GDPR. They want to comply with the GDPR across organization, or sometimes they want to comply with the GDPR for one specific location. So what the gap which we observed is, most of the tools are the similar kind of a platforms available. They are actually talking about whole organization level. Hey, if you meet all this, if you are implementing all these controls, you are 100% compliant. That is absolutely right. But what about if the organization decided to implement these specific frameworks or the standards in a specific location or the specific process? There is no visibility. So it's always there is a gap here. So what actually we are trying to do here, any organization, they can select the location, the process, they can create as a project. This compliances, they can create as a project and only apply the specific location or the specific process, but apply all the relevant controls or the relevant controls to the specific projects and see and measure whether it is complete, whether they are complied or not complied. And also we try to put the entire efforts of meeting specific requirements, whether who is responsible and how much time it will take and what frequency they are supposed to supposed to apply that particular controls, and also see the overall monitoring progress, and also the final the risk levels and the compliance postures they can see that. So very important, it is like a unified system wherein you can not only one single standard or single framework, you can club all the frameworks which is applicable for that organization, because most of the time what we see also, one organization they need to comply with various standards or various framework, like whether it is ISO 27001 or 27701 or the ISO, some other standard, the PCI or the SOC or the GDPR or HIPAA. If you look at that, the base structure, base controls are remain very common. There are very common controls or the common processes needs to be established within the organization. Apart from that, various frameworks they have their own unique controls to be implemented. So in this condition, there is a overlapping of the controls and the processes. So in this platform we are actually bifurcating what is the overlapping controls and what is the common controls, and also basis on that, whatever the work you people are doing as an organization, it will be there in a centralized library where everybody can have access to that. So there is no duplication of work. So this is, and being a assessment firm last so many years into this field, so we vetted all this the things controls or the overlapping and everything by the certified professionals. So basically, this is the QRS assist which I am talking, which is having predominantly the three categories: the roles, the staff, and the managers, and the client administrator. And this is how the people can see the dashboards, like any particular projects, what kind of a, whether it is a delayed, whether it is on in time, or whether it is any number of hours more spent on that number of hours and etc. And also it is inbuilt the total number of tasks and the calendars, the document central library where all the documents, because as a security firm, we are actually focused on the lot much, on the availability of the information. Okay. Also, the people can able to assign to the respective departments, the respective people. They can start working on the specific activities, and they can upload the things. Then it will comes for the proper maker checker concept, and once it is approved, it will back to the final folders, final destination where all the evidences will be stored securely. So this is basically the entire workflow which will help the organizations to manage their compliances in a very easy manner. And also very one more important thing is that the three key unique features which I have mentioned, because as being said that when you are maintaining the compliance, there is a lot of information flows in a different channels, whether it is emails, because the emails or the documents through some different channels, like the social media, not social media exactly, but internal messaging systems and etc. So what we try to do is we clubbed everything in one particular platform. So starting from the understanding the requirements to any discussions about the compliances, whether it is between the IT or the CISO or IT, the compliance officers or the HR or administrator, everything they can collaboratively. It is a central platform, they can use it to any discussions, any meetings, any communications, or any sharing of the documents. So it will never go out of the organization systems. Basically, that systems they can use it. So all these things we are actually clubbed in one particular place. This is like the chart application itself. Like if you want to convey some message to one of your fellow colleague, so don't need to use any other third party platforms or anything. So you can use the same platform where you can communicate with your team members. Okay, so this is basically that it will looks like the entire compliances in one place and all the visibility of this. Okay, now I would just like to showcase you, like as I mentioned, any organization they can select simply the specific standards, and it will automatically capture all the relevant controls applicable within the standard, and also the applicable evidences what the organization supposed to maintain. And that evidence is definitely, as a officer, project manager, you can able to assign to the different stakeholders and collect that information and review it. And after that, that entire the posture of that, the compliances will be visible to the single person. So this is just, I would like to showcase that the live, the how the system looks like, just for information. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at this, just I'm just showing, because since we are talking about this data privacy summit, just I want to showcase like a simple example like the privacy. Just I created a project called the project called GDPR. It is the privacy related regulation, right? If you can see here, if you see here, you can see as a compliance officer how many different standards your organization is need to comply, and what is the current status of these particular projects, and staff wise how many controls or how many activities they are working. Like if you look at this privacy as a project, it will showcase that exactly the system itself. You don't need to do anything. You just simply select the specific standard, whether it is a GDPR, whether it is a HIPAA, whether it is a PCI, whether it is ISO. The project manager, when they select the specific standard, it will come out with all the required controls, what is applicable for the specific standards. Okay. And also, if you can see here, in the total number of control, there is a possibility. I mean, there is a flexibility to the user who can actually, he can see that what is the those controls. A very important element I would like to highlight here. If you look at this here, there are certain controls you can see. I can assign to that particular persons. Okay. I mean, department wise, you can select the specific person and assign the dates for them. This is how actually you can assign a specific control, so that this respective role person can able to see, hey, what is this control they are supposed to work. It is not end here. Actually, if you look at this here, most of the time what is happened, the organization, they don't know what kind of a controls they are supposed to comply. Point number one. Second one is, they don't have any information about the specific control. Like if you look at this, since just I will show you the consent, right? The people can have the, like if you see data subject consent form, this is one of the requirement. In this requirement, the currently it is a non-compliant because no one is actually started working on that, but it will actually map with all existing standards in the like for example, this particular consent form, which is also there in the HIPAA and also there in the GDPR, different articles which are talking about this particular consent form. This is the control reference documents. At the same time, there is some description about, I mean, here actually we are taking the industry experts advice also to keep as much as information in this description, so that people can simply, they can read it and try to understand what they're supposed to do with that specific control, to comply with the specific control. And as well as, most of the time the people knows the control, but they don't have any previous references or the kind of a templates or anything. So in this QRC assist, we are actually provisioning such kind of a templates as applicable. So point number one, the organization, they don't have any idea of the specific standards. They can simply select the standard. They can get all this information within that platform. Not only that, in the data security consent form, if you can see, they are supposed to meet that specific control. There is a evidence required, that is a provide data subject consent form. This is something they have to establish as a process. Here also, there is a references which are providing what exactly the evidence description and notes and even the template. So this is how actually it looks like. Okay. Not only this, the specific users, they can simply, they can assign this to the specific people. Just I showed to you one screen where as a compliance officer, you can assign that. And also there is a task visibility. I mean, if the persons, they don't have the respective thing, then they can create their own task. For example, this is actually myself, I'm assigning this to me, right? Yeah. Two. Okay. So, okay, sorry, there is something. Let me show. Yeah, if you look at this, this is a staff which I have actually shown to you that the specific control is assigned to that particular staff. The staff can able to see the staff can able to see all the things what is applicable for them and what is not applicable for them. They can also create their own task, and all the evidences is can be moved into that particular evidences section. And also as a team they can able to conduct the proper charting in between the people. I mean, people can able to chart it. So this is how actually it looks like. Not only this, whatever the controls are applicable or not applicable, some controls people can say, hey, it's not applicable. So simply I can put up that comment and I make it not applicable. If you see here, the disposal of media, it's not applicable. Very important element, very important here. Also, whatever we did, that entire activities can be logged here. It means that any controls we are assigning, whoever working on that particular control, and they can create their own task. The task is updations. They can directly get the evidences into the evidences folder. Also, everything will be logged in this particular activity sheet. So predominantly, this will help the organizations to organize the compliances and the requirements in a structured manner. They can see which controls are applicable, which controls are not applicable. They can decide that. And also if the controls are applicable, they can assign to the respective team members, and they can communicate with the team members by communicating to the chat messages or the minutes of the meetings and etc. And also when the team members actually they are they can have they can use this platform to understand by using the templates, understanding by reading the descriptions, and exactly the mapping with the various frameworks in the industry. Apart from that, they can create their own tasks, and that can be clubbed with the my projects. Just I will just show it to you what exactly it looks like. This is my projects. You can interlink. So sometimes what if, for example, there is a risk assessment to be conducted. So risk assessment, they can create the project itself. So the project, again, as I mentioned, the projects can be having multiple things on this, like the activities can be logged out and how many hours they are spending, your team members, and all the sticky notes and the chart messages with the one-to-one. So everything will be inbuilt in this particular platform. They can select the specific standard, and they can see all the documentation, whatever they are, collecting the documents is a central repository. All the documents, it will go not going out of the system. So they can capture all the documents here. They can conduct the minutes of meetings or anything. They can create the minutes of meeting here, and all the documents or the discussion points they can capture here, as well as they can keep a track of who is working on what task and how much time they spent on this. So basically this is a combination of the compliances with the project, so that you don't miss out any compliance targets and the dates. And also there is a clarity in terms of the requirements and in terms of the evidences, in terms of what is the current posture of the organization. So this is what actually we are offering in this QRS assist. Also it is additional things like the service request ticketing system. This is just like a ticketing system is also part of this. The mainly what we are focusing is how to simplify the compliances by using this platform. Like RBI, there is a RBI regulation. So basically whatever RBI requirements, it's automatically comes here. So it's what I am trying to say. It's not about only the global standards. Even we are trying to put up this different circular, different regulatory requirements into this platform, so that the people can simply they can adopt, they can use it. They can come to know what exactly the requirements, and they can try to comply with that. If you can see, they can see whether it is a partial compliant, whether it is a non-compliant, whether it is a not applicable, by looking at the things. Whatever approval documents and everything, that will be captured in a single folders, so that anytime automatically whatever things are approved, they definitely they all these documents in single place, it is visible. They can share it with their respective auditors or assessment bodies, or the regulatory bodies. So it is a very simple flow which just I explained. There are a lot of things are there, because due to the time constraint I am not able to explain all the things. If someone interested, please, definitely we can catch up separately. But this is what actually we are trying to build up and definitely we are actually adding some more into this in this platform. But as on today, the entire compliance management, they can, any organization can able to manage through this platform. This is just from my side. I hope I is already just 2 minutes. I crossed the timelines. Thank you very much for this opportunity. If anybody is having any questions, I am ready to expand that. Thank you.
Great, Vamsi sir. Thank you very much. I think you are on dot. No issues. Yeah, there seems to be one question. You are able to read that, or I will read it for you.
No, sir, I don't have.
I'll help you. I'll help you. It says that does QRC and qualified rehabilitation consultant in healthcare industry both are same, or else the standards are entirely different? I think just explain about your QRC solutions enough.
No,
Yeah.
that is totally different, actually.
Yes.
That's totally different.
Yeah,
Okay.
great. Yeah, excellent. So I think because of the time, I would really like to thank you, Mr. Vamsi, for the kind of QRC, as introducing the QRC assist. I could think of like a one-stop solution, right? This discussion is keep going on, as you know, in the industry, that if we have to comply to GDPR, to HIPAA, to various ISO standards with respect to, right, and in fact PCI DSS and etc., how you are going to, I think we could get the kind of insight into what your application and tool does. And as you really said, that if somebody is keen, I'm sure that they'll be able to get in touch with you. Thank you very much for your time and effective introduction of your application with us. Thanks once again.
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.